this coaster is pointless. Here's why. I'm gonna rank every coaster and give them a review. Every drop and every hill, every launch and every loop. Rate it 1 to 10 and then we'll do it all again. Gonna rank and review every coaster. Journey to Atlantis, also known as JTA, is a water coaster manufactured by Mack, just like its sister coasters at SeaWorld San Diego and Orlando. These three water rides are quite different, with the San Antonio version being the newest, and in my opinion, easily the worst. And that brings me to the big question I have regarding this ride. Is it even a roller coaster? No, wait, no, not that question. Is this ride pointless? Well, let's consider some things. Despite my personal opinion of a coaster, I can often find value in its existence, even if I don't personally care for it. The perfect example of this is the last review I did. Vekoma Junior coasters really don't do much for me. They're not nearly thrilling enough, but I recognize that they serve the very important role of providing younger and more timid coaster riders a tame and comfortable coaster experience. But as far as Journey to Atlantis goes, I struggle to find its value. Now, SeaWorld San Antonio as a whole has a really solid collection of rides and attractions, and I think it's a super fun park. They have something to offer in almost every category, and that ultimately is the biggest knock towards the value of Journey to Atlantis. If you're in the market for a thrilling coaster, Texas Stingray, Steel Eel, and Great White are all great rides. They each offer inversions, multiple large drops, and or a generally fast-paced and out-of-control feel. Journey to Atlantis has none of those. Well, okay, that's fine. It's not a crazy intense or exciting thrill ride, so is it a good family ride then? Not exactly. Journey to Atlantis is quite large in stature. I was unable to find any official stats on it, but I have seen a height of 100 feet floating around some places. And the huge jump is likely quite intimidating for younger riders. If you're just looking to dip your toes into the world of riding coasters, SeaWorld San Antonio offers a great starter coaster in Super Grover's Boxcar Derby. And if you're looking for something the whole family can enjoy, then Wavebreaker is a perfect fit. So it doesn't really fit the bill of a good family or kid-oriented ride either. Well, okay, but it still fits in one more very valuable category. It is a water ride. Does JTA serve as a good way to cool you off on a hot summer day? I guess, but it is also pretty unnecessary in this category as well. The splashdown of the ride does get you mildly wet, but not nearly as much as I think most people would like in the Texas heat. Not to mention, there are a plethora of other rides and attractions to cool you down just as well, or better. Rio Loco is a water rapids raft ride that is sure to leave you soaked. It also offers faster pacing as the water is constantly rushing, in contrast to Journey to Atlantis barely moving through its water section. SeaWorld is also about to open Catapult Falls, which definitely seems like it will be a more exciting option than JTA. Catapult Falls will feature a launch, an elevator lift, a 53-degree drop, and 2 airtime hills. And I obviously cannot yet speak firsthand on how wet it will get you, but it does definitely seem to be a better ride overall. So you already have 2 great other options as far as water rides go. But then there's also all the non-ride options. For kids, the park's play area has a splash pad. If you like animals and need to give your legs a break, you can catch one of the aquatic shows and sit in the splash zone. And trust me, that will get you wet. And even if you prefer to stay dry, you can still cool off by just going through a couple of their indoor animal exhibits. Additionally, if you don't mind traveling next door, there is also a full water park, although that is a separate ticket if you are not a pass holder. So all that just to say that I really don't find that much value in Journey to Atlantis. And sure, I do think it is always nice to offer more rides and attractions than fewer. It's not like this ride is doing any harm. It just falls short in about every single category you could place it in, thus making it pointless in my mind. And I definitely do not seem to be alone in that opinion. I put a poll up on Instagram and 73% of y'all said that you think this ride is pointless as well. But pointless or not, let's go ahead and get into the actual review of the ride experience of Journey to Atlantis. Getting to JTA can be a little tricky as it is tucked away in the corner of the park and there's not a ton of signage for it. JTA offers minimal theming that pales in comparison to its coastal counterparts. It does still provide a nice appearance that is much more pleasing than what is typical of a standard amusement park ride. For my experience, the ride does offer very fast operations, running 3 boats at one time and keeping the wait time relatively low. The boats themselves seat 4 rows of 4 riders, and their pleasant appearance offers quite a bit of detail, sticking to the vague Atlantis theme. Once on board, you'll be sent out into one of the most underwhelming layouts of any coaster. The lift hill takes a little over a minute to get you to the top of the ride, but it'll still be a while before you do much of anything. What follows that lift is a turntable, which slowly turns you more than 360 degrees around to line you up for the backwards drop. And this takes forever. And I'm not sure why they decided to have it spin so much instead of just getting you lined up with the drop quicker. I think the fact that there is a turntable is a fun little gimmick, but spinning around for 32 seconds doesn't really add to the ride for me. I mean, maybe they did it for anticipation or potentially just for the view, but for me, I was just bored. It definitely does not help that the drop that follows is also kind of boring. It is a backwards drop, so that is another nice little gimmick, and I guess that gives it the tiniest bit of value at the park, but it is completely forceless. It doesn't even give you the tiniest little tingle in your tummy. The one good thing about it is I think this drop might be cool if you have never gone backwards on a ride at all, but that's about it. It then takes you nearly 15 seconds to even reach the second turntable, and an additional 15 seconds on said turntable to do its turning. So at this point, you've already been on the ride for over 2 minutes, and only 10 seconds has consisted of anything other than moving at a snail's pace. Not super fun. Once you're facing forwards again, you go down the big drop, which is definitely the most exciting part of the ride. There's nothing much as far as forces go, but the gradual build up in speed is decently fun. There is also a really cool near miss with the building that you pass through. Since you're traveling really fast, it does feel like you are just barely passing through that small opening. The splash that is created at the bottom of the drop is decent, but like a lot of water rides, the water is pushed out and away from the boat as opposed to up and onto riders. And I don't really mind this as I don't typically like getting soaked on water rides, but when the rest of the ride does just about nothing, I think it would be nice to get a little more bang for your buck and at least have the water aspect of this ride do a little more. The fun does unfortunately end here, as for the rest of the ride you will slowly traverse a U-turn back into the station. This brief flume section is again quite boring, but there is a bit of rock work, like I guess to your left. I don't know. I'm trying to say something nice about the ride at this point. Rock work is always good, so yay rocks. And yeah, that's the ride. I'd give it a rating of about 1.5 out of 10. That's really lower of a rating than I'd prefer to give any ride, honestly. But I just can't see myself riding this coaster again. And I do foresee myself going back to this park because, like I said, I do like the park. I mean, heck, I went back the year after my first visit and I skipped out on this ride because it's boring. So I really would not be shocked if JTA gets removed in the next few years. JTA also ranks quite low out of the 273 coasters I have been on, as it sits all the way down at number 242. And I just moved it this low. I accidentally saw it in the last video, and I thought, dang, I actually really think these Vekoma Jr. coasters are more fun, so I had to move it down a few spots. But maybe I'm just a hater. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more content like this, and make sure to tune in next time where I'll be talking about... Ooh, that's a weird one, but a fun one.
What do you want, Brian?
What do you think of Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld San Antonio?
Is that the one that literally just goes up? Ooh, up.
Yeah, that's the one. What do you think about it?
That's what I think about it. That's all it does. I don't want to go on it again.